Jeffrey Epstein's abuse of underage girls in Florida. It's a case that ended without any federal charges ever being filed against the sex offender.
And I think the real answer is Jeffrey Epstein was working on behalf of intel services, probably not American.
Did you know that Jeffrey Epstein was already convicted in 2008 for soliciting a minor, yet he continued meeting presidents, billionaires, and world leaders who now deny any involvement?
Could you please state your full name?
I'm Jeffrey Edward Epstein, and my residence address is 6100 Red Hook Boulevard in Virgin Islands.
Have you ever been convicted of a crime?
Yes.
And what exactly is hidden inside the more than 3.5 million pages of Epstein files, and why has so little accountability followed their release? Epstein wasn't just a disgraced financier and a convicted sex offender. In fact, by virtue of his wealth and connections, he was able to position himself within networks where influence facilitated far broader crimes. Jeffrey Epstein, born in Brooklyn in 1953, began as a teacher at the Dalton School before somehow transforming himself into a financier serving some of the wealthiest people in the world. In 1991, he partnered with Ghislaine Maxwell, former United Kingdom parliamentarian Robert Maxwell's daughter, who was later identified as a central figure in his trafficking operation. What's most absurd is that despite more than 3.5 million released records documenting Epstein's trafficking network and elite connections, there have been virtually no major prosecutions or accountability yet. The truth seems to have drowned in the sheer immensity of images, videos, interviews, and police records, financial records, property seizures, and flight manifests, most of which amount to vague or irrelevant information. That which is evident of horrendous crimes seems to have been redacted, shielding the identities of those complicit. Some of the most disturbing material comes from FBI interview summaries with victims. One report describes a girl who told investigators she was first abused by Epstein at around 13 years old, after responding to what she believed was a babysitting job. According to the FBI report, Epstein offered her alcohol, cocaine, and marijuana before the assault. She later recalled that after accepting the drinks and drugs, everything got blurry like a dream. She also said that Epstein forced her into disgusting sexual acts despite resistance and assaulted her with objects including beer bottles and a golf club handle. She also said that Epstein photographed her with Polaroid cameras and kept drawers of images of her and other girls. When she was caught looking through the photographs, she told the investigators, trigger warning, that he raped me. At one point, the victim recalled Epstein threatening her to bring additional girls, allegedly telling her he wanted young, fresh meat girls. Later interview summaries recorded testimony from a woman alleging Epstein introduced her to Donald Trump when she was between 13 and 15, and that Trump assaulted her during the 1980s. The allegation, despite being very explicit, remains uncorroborated and has been strongly denied. These interview summaries were absent from the first release and appeared only after journalists noticed discrepancies between public files and those given to Maxwell's lawyers. Dozens of supporting documents still remain unreleased. Newly unredacted records reviewed by the United States lawmakers revealed 6 previously concealed names, including that of billionaire Leslie Wexner, whom the FBI had previously considered a potential co-conspirator in its 2019 investigation. Other documents show correspondence with global elites. In one exchange, Virgin Group founder Richard Branson invited Epstein to his Caribbean island, writing, "Anytime you're in the area, would love to see you, as long as you bring your harem." Emails also show contact with other major political figures. Thousands of entries mention Donald Trump, while records show Bill Clinton traveling on Epstein's private jet and appearing in photographs and messages, though neither has been charged with crimes related to the investigation. Some exchanges are even more disturbing. Emails linked to Dubai executive Sultan Ahmed bin Sulaim include a conversation where Epstein wrote, "I loved the torture video." Records also show meetings between Epstein and linguist Noam Chomsky. When questioned, Chomsky acknowledged meeting Epstein in 2015 and described it as a discussion about politics and academic funding, stating, "First response is that it is none of your business. I knew him and we met occasionally." But the files reveal more than just individual crimes. They reveal the structure of the network that surrounded them. Former United States Treasury Secretary Larry Summers continued meeting Epstein even after his conviction, despite warnings from colleagues at Harvard. Emails also show Epstein exchanging hundreds of messages with former Trump advisor Steve Bannon between 2018 and 2019, discussing politics, travel, and even a potential documentary designed to repair Epstein's public reputation shortly before his arrest. The network extended into European politics as well. British Labour figure Peter Mandelson introduced Epstein to former British Prime Minister Tony Blair, who later met him while serving as a Middle East envoy for the International Quartet. His connections extended to the UK royalty as well, including Sarah Ferguson and Prince Andrew Mountbatten. In a 2016 sworn deposition, Virginia Giuffre said Epstein trafficked her to Andrew when she was 17, recalling being directed by Ghislaine Maxwell to have sex with him. A widely circulated 2001 photograph showing Andrew with his arm around Giuffre at Maxwell's London residence, along with flight logs and witness statements, placing him within Epstein's social circle, later became central evidence in the civil case Andrew settled with Giuffre in 2022 without admitting any liability. Financial records show Epstein presenting himself as a representative of powerful banking interests. In a 2016 email to technology investor Peter Thiel, the Silicon Valley billionaire who co-founded PayPal and later the surveillance analytics company Palantir, Epstein wrote, "As you probably know, I represent the Rothschilds. The Rothschilds are one of Europe's most powerful banking families." The claim resurfaced during testimony before the United States House Oversight Committee in February of 2026, when billionaire Les Wexner, founder of Victoria's Secret and Epstein's largest financial patron, testified under oath that Epstein had previously performed financial work for the Rothschild family in France. Wexner said he confirmed this directly with LED Rothschild. Financial records also show Epstein's firm Southern Trust Company signing a $25 million contract in 2015 with Edmund D. Rothschild, holding for financial risk analysis. Emails further show Epstein communicating regularly with Ariane D. Rothschild, chief executive of the Edmund D. Rothschild Group. In one message discussing global politics, Epstein wrote, "The coup in Ukraine should provide many opportunities." Flight logs and meeting records show Ehud Barak appearing frequently in Epstein's orbit, including visits to Epstein's Manhattan residence and meetings linked to technology investments. According to a 2020 FBI report, one of the U.S. intelligence group's sources said that Epstein was a co-opted Mossad agent, describing Epstein as someone who had allegedly been trained as a spy for Israel's intelligence service. Their relationship extended into Israel's security technology sector as well. Epstein also invested in Carbine, an emergency communications platform later chaired by Barak and connected to Israeli cybersecurity and intelligence networks. Several communications in the files also reference discussions about Palantir, the data analytics firm co-founded by Peter Thiel. Emails show Epstein explaining Palantir's technology to Barak and suggesting introductions to Thiel and Silicon Valley venture capital networks, including firms such as Andreessen Horowitz. The files never clearly explain Epstein's role, but they repeatedly show him linking politicians, tech investors, and companies building modern surveillance infrastructure. But if the Epstein files show anything with certainty, it's the reality of the modern world. That the problem isn't censorship, but in fact, an excess of information. The way that the files release flooded media with millions of pages, crucial evidence seems to have buried among mundane files, emails, property photos, and trivial records, making the truth harder to piece together. Jeffrey Epstein died in a Manhattan jail cell in August of 2019, before he could stand trial on federal trafficking charges. His death ended the possibility of a full courtroom examination of his finances, his contacts, and his network of influence. But the documents now being released are slowly reconstructing that story. And what they reveal is not simply the crimes of one man, they reveal a system where wealth bought access, access created influence, and influence often protected the people inside the network.